If you only want to charge full price for your beauty services, I made this for you because my point of view is that lower prices are not failing. There's a very particular strategy. So I've talked to a lot of beauty people who are brand new and they're like 0 to 10 clients in, but their expectations is that they're already wanting to charge what their trainers of 7 years are charging like within a few months. I see that as a problem. And then I also get people who are complaining about like, like these bargain hunters and like no one wants to pay my prices. I'm sick of the tire kickers and like I won't work with anyone who won't pay my full price. And like these people, sometimes they might have been in it for 10 years. So I respect the experience level. It has nothing to do with that. I always kind of speak from the point of view of if you're in survival mode, like I had one beauty person move all the way across the country and she had a very well-established business where she was. And she's like, I just want it to be exactly how it was over there right now. That's the problem, the expectation. And then also people thinking that lowering prices automatically equals that it's bad or embarrassing or devaluing. And I get that you feel that way. So my goal for this video is to help you see that lowering prices strategically, not like publicly being like discount, discount, discount. I'm not talking about that. I want to just share my point of view. Take it or leave it. This is going to be a rant video, so we might get a bit spicy. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but I'm just kind of getting some stuff off my chest because I hear it so much. But then I will at the end share some practical ways where I would handle like a slowdown period and also the frustration when people are not paying full prices, whether for a season or whether for a long time, or whether you did just a price jump and now things are falling apart, whatever that is. How can I speak to that? So I'm Melissa and I have hit $100,000 months. And I've also had months where I didn't feel safe financially at all and had nothing. And I have lost it all twice and had to start over twice in the last 2 years. So survival mode is my point of view. I've been in the beauty industry for 13 years. I started in makeup and hair and I grew to brows, lashes, and permanent makeup. And I co-owned a medical aesthetics college when I was 28. And we did laser skincare, Botox, intro, nails, waxing, 27 other courses. So I'm familiar with the services themselves. And so I've come across probably over 1,000 beauty people in services. And I've personally helped over 100 people in their beauty business. And then lastly, I've produced 15 online courses that grew a business to $1 million. So I make these videos because I, again, had to start my life over twice in the last 2 years. So I know what it feels like to need business to work right now and not burn out while doing it. So these videos are for female founders in the beauty industry doing services or tattooing. It works for those too, but especially for those of you who are in survival mode right now, where it's slow, where you're only getting like 2 clients a month, where you're relying on your regulars. I don't know what's happening in your world, but there's been a shift in the last 5 years and in the last 10 years and things have changed. So that's why I'm making these videos, because things have changed. And these videos are also for people in the stage where you just need faces in the door like right now, and you want the fastest path with the least amount of risk. So if that's where you're at, you are in the right place. My North Star point of view will always be stability first, growth second. That's why I'm talking about prices today. Now I will share like real results and real examples, but nothing is a guarantee or a promise. Every situation is different. So let's dive in. And just a disclaimer one more time, everything I share is just my point of view. You can disagree. You can even rant in the comments if you want. Start the discussion, but take what helps and leave what doesn't. Anything is fine. Okay, so I'm going to say I don't want to come across as like mean or aggressive, but it's just like a burning fire inside me because I have to say these things so many times on live calls and shift these perspectives for people who are in survival, because these patterns keep coming up and I totally understand why they do. So I don't want to bash dreams. I don't want to bash the fact that you want to charge full price. That is a very valid desire, but I'm speaking from survival. I'm speaking from 13 years of business and 8 years of not even knowing what I was doing. The ups and downs, the $8,000 month, and then you hit day one on the next month and you're like, oh dear God, my calendar's empty again. Those stresses. So I've lived the consequences with unpredictability. And I'm just so tired of it. So this is where I'm sharing. The first thing I want to talk about is the people that I talk to who have just graduated either from aesthetic school or permanent makeup, and they're like a few months in, or they haven't even launched their business. The prices that they're setting. I'll give you an example. One person graduated from her aesthetics and she's starting to make her pricing menu. So I know that in general, like a basic facial starting out would be like $40 to $45. Her opening price for a basic facial was $150. And I didn't want to argue with her prices. I was trying to gather information in her expectations and her situation, and she wasn't at quite the ready stage to launch yet. But my hypothesis is, and what I see is people get a space, they invest in the equipment, they buy like a micro needling device, which is like $6,000 if you get like a federally approved one, and they make all these investments and they open their doors and they set their prices at target price, at market value, and then they go like, why isn't this working? So that's why I'm making this video, or another reason. And the thing is, like, the people that are trying to like race to their trainers' prices, like they haven't even worked on 10 clients yet. Like my own personal journey in permanent makeup was I started with free, then I did like 10 people for 100, 10 people for 150. And honestly, like I wasn't super strategic. Like sometimes I'd have like a 6-hour client, and that 150, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never doing a 150 client again. We are now at 275. And sometimes I'd make my prices based on that. But I did a slow climb. It took me about 5 years and multiple trainings in order to grow from a permanent makeup artist, like in the glory days of 2016, where we could just post on Instagram and post in a Facebook group and clients would fall from the sky. It's not like that anymore. But it took me about 5 years to climb to like $500. Eventually I maxed out at like $650. But then when I moved cities, I dropped prices again to test the market. Like that's what I mean. Like there's a lot of testing. My background is in conversion rate optimization, which is a fancy way of saying like, if you bring me leads, my job is to make money from them. And I talk about business very frankly from the logic brain, but the way that I go about business is very empathetically human and relationship building. And I used to do like tactics and countdown timers and discounts and all that stuff. So I want you to know that like I've done all the things that I now hate doing. And I'm not talking about like tackily, like being tacky about lowering prices. It's a bit different, so bear with me. But I understand why, if you're new, you want to charge those prices because maybe the dream has been sold to you. Like, I remember there was a time where on every permanent makeup trainer's website, it was like that classic, like, client calculator where it's like, your path to 100 grand. That's not your first year, man. Like, that's not going to be the first year. That's like, a lot of people don't even get there. Actually, 80% of people who open a beauty business quit after the first year. That is a huge problem. And I think these pricing expectations and like fast climbs is part of it. So where I think about stability is like revenue stability. Like, can we get $2,000 predictably, $3,000 predictably? And then I'll talk about the strategy of which what I do with those clients at the lower prices at the end, because this is how business compounds. I had $1 million business. It was based on ads. We were spending $40,000 a month on ads at our peak. And then when we turned the ads off, we had no more revenue. So the business model was broken. And that's, I think, a big challenge that a lot of us are facing is we're constantly trying to get those full price clients over and over again. And then we are not thinking about the problem of systemizing the business. So we have a compounding growth that works without us, right? That's the dream. Bookings in the calendar. There was even a moment where, I'm not kidding, brand new Instagram page, less than 100 followers, 12 posts. We were able to convert permanent makeup clients, probably about like 3 a week at $200 a piece, all in, but she's brand new. If we get 10 a month, like that's $2,000 that we can collect and then grow from there because she has other services. Her goal was, okay, we did this, let's try 250. We did 250, but we didn't make any updates to her business and everything tanked, like absolutely zero bookings. And so we had to make some updates, and then 250 was working. And then she's like, I want to charge 350. And we went up to 350 and everything crashed and burned again. When prices climb, the risk factor inside someone, a lead's decision-making process, a real human, not just a robot transaction that I think we sometimes think that these leads are like garbage or bargain hunters. And okay, that's true. But there's a real skill in psychologically making somebody more ready to buy and value your services more. And that comes into something called the buyer's journey, all the touch points. the amount of reviews, what they say. Just because you're having a conversation with them, just because things are going well, it does not mean that they're going to book. Everyone gets pricing objections, and there's a skill at overcoming them. So all that to say is, as prices climb, business practices also need to change. And if those aren't happening, too big of a price increase can cause everything to collapse and fall. And then when you charge one girl $350 and then you back off to $250, someone finds out, people are upset. So I'm just saying, the math to focus on is not how much am I making per client right now, like in your first or second year, or if you're starting over in a new city, or if you're 10 years in and all of a sudden what was working before is not working and we need to try something different and save us from closing our doors, which someone messaged me today that a couple of her permanent makeup friends have actually closed their doors or went to get a full-time job, which means to me, their dream has now been broken. And that breaks my heart. So that's why I'm talking like this, is I'm trying to prevent hearts from being broken. Another person that I talked to said that she just hit her 3rd year and she's just broken even on her business. That sounds like a normal thing, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I think that a lot of the stubbornness, no offense, of not willing to be flexible about prices, and I'm not saying it has to be your most experienced service. If you have multiple services, there is something we can do about a lower price on something, and I'll tell you at the end why we would want to do that and how it actually grows the business faster by lowering the prices. It's a weird paradox. I had one girl in San Diego, and she's like, everyone in my salon suites is like booked and busy and charging like $600. Like I've been doing this for a year, but I've only done 5 clients, right? So it's not about time. She's only done 5 clients. And she literally said, I thought all I had to do was like open up a shop and like post some pictures on Instagram and it'd be all cool. She ended up, after we worked together, she realized or learned different aspects that business actually takes. And she chose to no longer continue her business, so that way she could focus on her family, because never before had she hit any mental health problems and her business was causing mental health problems. So she made the choice that she's like, okay, well, I'm not willing to like lower my prices so low. This isn't what I expected. I choose to quit. That's fine. I just want to prevent that from happening with as many people as possible. But if you're comparing yourself to the people around you, you're comparing yourself to like people who have been doing it for 7 years. You're comparing it to people who are doing different things in their business than you. Like you have no idea what they're doing in their business. You see what they're doing on the outside, but there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that we don't know that other people are doing. So you don't know why they're able to charge that much. But the reality is you can't just charge what they're charging because they're charging it too. You can't just like price yourself $50 lower and expect that you're going to get all the clients. Business, from what I've learned, does not work that way. And I want to say it's not about you not deserving to be paid for that. Like if you spent 10 years and you're really good at what you do, but people aren't paying the prices, the markets are maturing. Like I compare permanent makeup now compared to when it exploded in 2015, when microblading kind of surged in North America. The market has matured and there's more competition than ever. That means what used to work is not working. The days where you can get famous from like reels and post content and get clients, well, if that's working for you, man, hats off to you. That is a skill. But if I see a lot of people banking on content to get all their clients and like they're doing the posting every day and it's not working to get clients, it's not wasted because you're developing a skill. But if you're in survival mode and you need faces in the door, posting more content is not going to get you there. So from my okay, let me go back to my survival like point of view. So if you're in survival mode, like you don't have bookings, you need to pay rent, you have a family. I have a dog. She is an allergic dog, so her dog food is $200 a month. That's not fun. She can't have normal food. I favor predictability over, and I don't know if this is you, I'm not saying it's you, but ego pricing. Like I am worth this much. And I've said this in another video. You as a human are priceless. It's not about that. It's about market value. It's about paying the rent, paying the bills, and groceries are more expensive than ever. Like the world has changed. We know that. And it was just so, I might have been able to like make like $6,000 to $7,000 in a month, but then only having like 500 on the books for the next month was super stressful. And I would come to work, do my clients, be all like connecting and then compartmentalize and then go home on the kitchen floor crying my eyes out because I'm so stressed about what I'm going to do and I want to make this happen, but I am stuck, right? So it's that stuck feeling. So that's why I'm making these rants. So like the foundational reality is like the price, your identity is not tied to your price. Like I want that to be separate. Like the prices you charge has nothing to do with what that means about you as a person. Prices are like, I want it to be a mathematical equation, not an emotional decision. And that how much you charge is a combination of timing, not just timing, like you can't be in it for 10 years, but only have been practicing really for a year. Technically, you're just a year. And even if you've done a year, but if you've only done 10 clients, technically, like I consider you like, you're kind of like a month new. So timing plus proof. If you only have 10 clients, we don't have enough proof to charge full prices. And then volume. So your product will get better. Your experience will get better. The relationships you make will get better. Your whole systems will get better. The more volume you do. So lowering your prices to get volume in the door can compound your business way faster than trying to do everything you can to like make your business better and better and better and better and wait like 3 months to go from like 2 clients to 3 clients to 4 clients. And that's still not going to pay the bills. There's a faster way. What I see that is needed, that I think a lot of people are missing, that I built for myself because my mental bandwidth really took a hit this year and I couldn't do the thing that I normally do, which is work 12 hours a day and update my website and make these new course videos and do all this stuff. Like I had to have a hard stop. So I had to have something that paid the bills, brought in revenue, but I could do mindlessly. That was a system that I didn't have to think about. And I've just spent the last year stripping things down to the absolute necessities in order to like put money in the bank, get it in predictably, have it sustainable, and then work on growing it. The other thing that I see people do is they're making Instagram algorithm content, and I don't do that. Like I have made reels, finished editing at 2 a.m, posted them all at once because I was sending an email the next day that drove people to my Instagram because I wanted a certain outcome, which was like DMs and like calls booked, and that worked. So I used my Instagram as a different strategy. People really neglect the power of words and we're really over indexing on video. When I do like my system strategy, the best content that makes people buy, I'm talking about buying, not about Instagram anything. I don't even look at Instagram metrics other than profile visits and website clicks. That's the only thing I look at. But when we make buyer-based content, meaning that the copywriting and the captions are doing certain things, story for another day, literally just photos and like different kinds, full face photos, before and after collages. Like there's one format that we do that's like a full face with like a little circle for the before. That's really effective. And like no video. Like when I help somebody make money, video is too much to teach like a brand new person. So we like literally just teaching collages can be difficult sometimes. No disrespect. We all start somewhere. But sometimes we got to focus on just the core fundamentals and make it as easy as possible. And then over time, the more people you do, then the business matures, and steadily I like to price test behind the scenes. So I do set my target prices like on a website. Actually, I don't list my prices at all because I like to restructure my offers, and there might be reasons why you lower prices because you took a new training, you want to try something new, you want to do a new like content shoot. Like there's a lot of reasons we could make to like lower prices for a limited time, and we don't have to do it publicly. It could be behind the scenes. But if your target is 500, charge $250 for a year. Get like 15 clients a month, because by the end of the month or the end of the year, the amount of volume that you've accumulated, you could probably very quickly price test your way $50 at a time and figure out like how to get to that 500 way faster, as opposed to trying to charge 500 right now and struggle for the whole year and close your doors, which is what a lot of people go through. And that really sucks. That's why I'm making this video, is because I don't want that to happen to anybody. So on the matter of discounts, I made a whole separate rant video where I go about discounts, my views, and how I go about discounting that doesn't sound like a discount and why I do a discount. But I just want to say that lower prices, like it's not devaluing your service. There is a very specific reason why we might do it, for business reasons, because when I talk to people and when I've worked with like over 100 people this year, I love business and I love marketing. And I wanted to create like a lot of little like mini me's who are really passionate about it too. From the 100 people, I only got 2 of those. Most people are like, I don't care. I just want something that works. All I want to do is work on my clients. That's kind of what I hear, is I just want to work on my clients. So like if that really is what you want to do, then forget about devaluing yourself. It's not going to like make people always expect a discount unless you do it in a very tacky way. And yes, there are ways that do that, but there are ways that don't. So I have a whole different discount rant that you can check out. Because there's creative ways that you can offer like value and packages and offers and bonuses and free gifts and then you don't come across as being cheap. Like I'm not even saying like run an ad that says 50% off. Like don't do that either. Don't post any promotions on your feed. I don't post discounts. These are all back end. So check out that video if you're curious about how I actually go about lowering prices effectively for maximum business growth and stability. And I'm talking like thousands of dollars, like not just like I'm talking like making more than the few clients that you get at full price. There's trade-offs. I want to talk about paying your dues. So another thing with like new people is like, okay, you have these expectations and you have these dreams. I love that. Keep working towards it. But I'm not even telling you to do anything, but let me just tell you what I do. I wanted to work at an AI tech company because I saw AI coming out and like internet, if you got onto the internet early, you win. Smartphones, that was another big wave. Fire, the wheel, the automobile. AI is that. So I'm like, I want to involve myself. So I actually like volunteered. I was like, can I come and do this? I don't care. Just give me any work. I just want to be in this world. I volunteered for a tech company for 6 months prior to them hiring me. When they hired me, I proved my value to them in a variety of different ways. So I got a job that I actually liked. I got to like kind of come into a job that I liked at the company as opposed to like running coffees. And on top of that, the rate that I got paid right off the gate was higher than somebody else I talked to who took 4 years of schooling and was in their job for 10 years. Because I volunteered, I was getting paid more than them, like right out the gate. So pay your dues, volunteer, learn. When I quit my job, I was at Bare Minerals and Buxom. Bare Minerals at the time when I was working there was the #2 cosmetic brand in the entire USA, and I was in Canada. I would go around to different Sephoras and I would train Sephora staff members on the products and techniques and all that stuff. I ended up not liking it, so I quit to start my own business. The president of Shiseido, female president of Shiseido, sat me down. She's like, are you sure you want to do this? Do you have any savings? I'm like, I don't, and I don't have a plan because I take risks. So that's how I've ended up myself starting over. Oh, that's a third time. Yeah. So that's another starting over time. But that month and that September after was like one of the happiest months of my entire year because I had my freedom of choice and I could build my business. And I was doing makeup. I was taking film jobs, 12-hour days on set, and I was making $25. Pay your dues. So if that means you're doing like 10 people for free, or if that means you're opening up like a mock call to take on like 10 people for whatever reason, but get as much as you can from it. There's other things other than money that you get from taking clients. There's the experience, there's the referrals, there's the practice, there's the photos, there's the videos, there's trying new stuff. There's lots of different things that we can do. And then more importantly than that, like I don't want to keep chasing new customers. Like once I get a customer and I love them, like wouldn't it be amazing if you had your favorite clients coming back to you month over month, depending on what services you do, and like that was your bread and butter, and then they talk to more amazing people? Like that's what I'm talking about. We lower our prices, get people in the door just because, oh yeah, the other false belief. Just because you bring them in for a lower price doesn't mean they're going to expect it all the time for everything. Some people will, but on average, if we get 10 people in at a lower price, 2 of them, 1 or 2 are gonna book something else. If we have the system in place, that's the thing that's missing is the systems, not just lower prices. Lowering prices isn't gonna fix everything. There needs to be a system as well. Okay, rant continuing. Price jumps, they create new problems. So when you charge more, even by $50, it's a harder conversion process, meaning it's harder to convert that client. When you increase prices, there's pricing psychology. If I'm going to charge $300, I will call it $299. If I'm going to charge $400, it will be $399. There's a very big difference when you're looking at a can of soup on the shelf and it's $2.99. Your brain goes, oh, it's only $2. Your bank account goes, oh, it's $3. It's just pricing psychology, and you can look at that. But the more we charge, the higher the risk is in their head of making a mistake. And there is a skill that is needed in order to overcome pricing objections. So pricing objections are never going to go away. And the higher your prices get, the more you're going to get them, even if you do a bunch of stuff to make your digital presence great. So as we climb in prices, more skills are needed to develop. So if you're in survival mode, we need lower prices to keep you safe So that way you can continue to stay in business and feel calm instead of stressed, and very methodically pick what is the next skill I need to develop and then go all in on it. Is it your video taking skills? Is it a system to cross-sell? Is it a system to get reviews? Once we get that system in place, we move on to the next thing. So I see business as a series of problem solving. So business is not like set it and forget it. And if you do have like really big dreams, getting staff and all that, like that's when it gets a lot more complicated. I'm not even gonna go there. Lower prices are just a tool. It's not the full solution. That's all I'm trying to say there. Because the reality in business that I have learned in 13 years, take it or leave it, my point of view, business is cause and effect. So when I make a test, every week I make a new test, small test. It could be a change in the language of my DMs. It could be an update in the kind of software that I'm building in order to make my life easier. It could be a slight change in the way I do content or the frequency of what I do content, or making the system of making content more easy on myself so I can make more. Every week I try to do one small improvement, and I try it, I launch it, and I let go of the expectation of what happens, because sometimes things get worse, sometimes they get better, sometimes they stay the same. Once I get that information, then I adjust. I literally don't plan more than like a day in advance. Right now I'm planning a week in advance because of life circumstances, and I kind of have to. But typically I wake up the next day and I say, what is the number one constraint in my business right now preventing me from making $1? And I do my very darndest to stick to that one thing that's going to make me $1, no matter how boring, no matter how much I don't want to do it. It's a discipline to do that thing. And that's literally all it takes. Starting with lower prices allows me to not be stressed, and I can make a better decision instead of like, oh my God, my business is sinking and failing. I need a website overhaul. I need a new service. I need to invest 10K in that program that's going to promise me 10 clients and 20 clients in 30 days or money back guarantee. Like those are all risky decisions. That's why I like predictability. We can calmly decide the next level. Because just like there's no magic formula, there's no magic wand, there's no magic hack. Like those, I will make commentary on hacks. Like, okay, someone said a hack, send out an email promotion, but there's trade-offs. Like you send out an email promotion as a discount. I don't want to do that. And I definitely don't want to do that every month, because then they're going to expect the discount and the lower prices. So even though I'm saying lower, like don't think about lowering prices as a bad thing, I'm also saying that there's bad ways to go about it. And just because we get like, ooh, this worked today, the next time we do it, it's going to work less. I've done SMS marketing. I've done email marketing. And like the first time you launch a promotion, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So you do it again, and it gets worse and worse every time. And then people, then they devalue you. But the foundation of understanding that every week, launch a small new test, make one small improvement, build the foundation of predictable revenue with a lower price. So that way we can scale and focus on upsell, cross-sell, referral, and make a compounding business. And then very slowly increase the price of that thing, or keep that thing as, have you ever heard of a lost leader? Like, I think it's milk. Milk in grocery stores, they literally sell at cost. They make no money on milk, nothing. There's a bunch of little things at grocery stores, but you come in for milk, and my mom always does this. She's like, oh, I'm just going for a small shop. And she comes back with bags. That is the business model. So we have a small thing that people need and want. They come in, it's a fair price, they buy it, but then not everyone buys more, but we focus on the systems that make people buy more. Pick one service, lower the barrier temporarily, get the volume in. We want to upsell 1 or 2 people into something else, and we also want to focus on 1 to 2 people becoming a referrer, and often we will find a super referrer. We don't need everyone to refer, but you might have 1 people that refers you 10 people. We just need those people. And the discounts that I do are in the back end. Like think about VIP clients. I'm going to treat my best clients better. Loyalty programs, free gift on your next thing, whatever. All of these are on the back end of the lower price as the entry point. I'm not saying lower like your most experienced service or the thing you do the best. If you have something that's newer, if you have something that like takes you 15 minutes and you can, and like there's different ways. Let me circle back. So for the folks of you that have been in it for 10 years or more, like me, slow seasons happen and lower prices can reboot a flow. Not as like an ad where we're like, this month only 50% off, not that, but back end, and then very strategic In the discount rant, I talk about think of discounts as offers. We think about different offers, but we need a client flow coming in. We need cash flow. We can't go a month without cash flow. At least I don't want to. And again, I'm talking from survival. So if you have to lower prices, I just want you to know it's not like a moral failure. Like I've moved cities and lowered my prices like by half, like just to test the market. Because I'd rather go with like my lowest price and then lower it a little bit more. So I'm like, ugh, only take 3 people. But if you get those 3 people in a week, then yeah, up it by like $50 the next time. Find that equilibrium. You staying in business is the most important thing. This week I had to put my oxygen mask on first before other people. That's what I'm talking about. Put your oxygen mask on first, and there is a way to do it without it being, I don't know, you're going to feel how you're going to feel. This is just how I feel. So let me leave it at that. Okay, so all in all, in summary, so the takeaway and like what I hope brings like some relief if you've been feeling like guilty or like what do I do with my prices or and if you're absolutely like resistant and stubborn, that's totally fine too. You have every right to be. But here's my point of view. Lowering prices does not mean you're failing. It is a very strategic business decision if you make it into a system. Just lowering your prices, throwing it out there for a month is not going to fix your business. That's not what I'm talking about. But using it as a strategy, as a part of a strategy. And please don't take it as like a hurt and a wound to your worth of your skill level, what you deserve. It has nothing to do with your identity. All lowering prices is a strategic lever, and we don't have to do it publicly. If you choose to lower your prices, you are choosing cash flow and safety and stability. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's good for you. And if you have people you're protecting, you have dog food you got to buy, you're protecting other people too. So you're doing a good thing, and it's okay. Pricing is a business tool. It's not like, I don't see it as like, let me figure out how much I can possibly charge for this as I can and work at the least. There's definitely a balance. I don't want to kill myself working, but I don't want to like overcharge and feel like I'm not delivering enough value either. So I'm very much charged based on results, and I try to keep my prices balanced, but I will test different things, like different packages, different like combinations of things in order to find the sweet spot. So like package of 10, package of 5, package of 4, varying discounts. I'll do different things like to try to figure out what I can actually keep as like an evergreen constant cash flow. And it requires testing to do that. And I want you to know you get to choose this. Like I'm not forcing this on you. There's pros and cons. Like if it takes you like 3 hours to do a lip blush service and you're so tired and you're charging $200 for it, it's gonna feel bad. But I actually wouldn't use lip blush as that one anyway. I'd probably choose I go into more, actually watch the discount one. I have some ideas about which ones I would choose to lower the prices. I don't think I'd do a lip blush one though. Lip blush is kind of like one of the hardest services that I've had to work on getting cash flow for. I'll make another video on kind of the easier ones to sell. And if things are slow, like for any particular reason, lowering prices in a strategy with a system can be, I think, the smartest move. Smartest. I would reward your intelligence for doing that as opposed to, for whatever reason, just being rock solid and never budging on it. If that's you, that's okay too. And also know it's not forever. It could be for a year. It could be for 2 years. We might switch up what the lower one is. Maybe you bring on a new service and we switch what the lower price service is that gets people through the door. But we're trying to build a compounding business, not just something that's going to keep you alive for a month, like something that's going to allow you to, or for me, like my goal is the simplest thing I can do with the highest return on investment at the lowest risk that gives me the most amount of freedom over my time that will always support me in any emergency. That is why I made this video, and that is why I think lowering prices can be a good thing. So if this is helpful, you can share it, you can like it, you can hate it, you can start a rant in the comments, and I'm not going to fight you on it. We all got our points of view and they're all valid.